Hello and welcome to On the Mat with Lydia. That's me. And whatever has brought you to your yoga mat today, you are very welcome here. Today's class is a restorative practice where we'll be using props to help us really drop in and relax into some of these postures. So this is a really slow-paced and calming practice, and we'll be using 3 different props for this class today. So you'll need a yoga strap, a yoga blanket, and a pillow or a bolster if you have one. Now these are things that you can use just from your house, maybe a pillow off your bed, a blanket off your couch, a strap or a belt that you have hanging around. And if you don't know what these props are, what I'm talking about, I encourage you to go back to my previous video about using yoga props in your practice. So once you have everything, you're all ready to go. Let's get on the mat. We'll start off our practice today using our blanket. So you can set your other props off to the side for now and just grab that blanket. And we're gonna unfold it so that you have a little bit of space between the long edges of that blanket. And then we're gonna roll the blanket from long edge to long edge, so from the crease to the fringe if you have it, until we make this nice sushi roll with the blanket. So a nice roll. It's gonna depend on the thickness of your blanket, how thick that roll gets, but know that you can always make it less thick by unrolling it a little bit and more thick by rolling it more. Now, once you have your sushi roll, go ahead and place that in the top third of your yoga mat. And we're gonna come to lay down on our blanket so that it hits right underneath your shoulder blades. So find that place for you, laying down onto your sushi roll, finding the tips of your shoulder blades meeting that sushi roll here as you lay back. Now you choose knees bent, feet planted, or legs extended out long, whatever feels best for your back. And then arms will spread out to either side of you, either arms straight or elbow bent, with your arms resting above that blanket roll. Now, if you'd like a little extra support for the head, you can always roll up your mat or bring another blanket underneath your head just for a little extra cushion. And as best you can, allow your body to relax into the support of the earth here, getting heavy on that blanket. And if it feels safe and comfortable for you, allowing your eyes to close. And in this gentle back bend here, finding an expansive breath. So as you inhale through your nose, feel this rise of your chest, this ballooning of the belly and the ribs. And as you exhale, feel this natural release into the support of your blanket. Again, inhaling, feeling that expansion, that lift of your chest. And on your exhale, relaxing into that release. And we'll take just a few more rounds of breath here to really arrive for this restorative practice today. Giving yourself permission to slow things down and allow some space for rest in your body. Let's take one more inhale here. And exhale completely. Moving slowly as we transition here. Please begin to bend your knees and plant the soles of your feet if you're not already there. And really slowly begin to roll onto the right side of your body. Bringing your hand under your head as a little pillow, taking a moment on your side. And then when you feel ready, pressing yourself all the way up to a seated position on your yoga mat. As you arrive, finding a comfy seat, whether that's cross-legged, maybe you have the legs extended. You can set your blanket off to the side for now, and please grab your strap. So we'll take a moment now to wake up the upper body, create some space around the shoulders. So holding your strap here, we'll take our hands a little bit wider than shoulders width distance. So bringing your strap out in front of you, finding that grip with the hands, and then pulling your strap side to side with the hands here. So grabbing so that you can find that tightness in the strap in between. And then draw your shoulders down into their sockets here. Let's take an inhale to bring your arms up to the sky. As you exhale, drop your arms back as much as you feel comfortable. So as the arms go back, keep pulling with the hands. Feel that strap can stay taut. And then inhale right back up through center. And exhale down in front. Again, inhale, reaching up, and exhale, arms come back any amount. Inhale, lift your arms back up to the sky, keeping your elbows straight, and exhale down through center. Please keep that going with your breath, inhaling up, and exhaling back. So it doesn't matter how far back the arms go, we're looking for a stretch around the chest, the shoulders. Notice that you can always take your hands wider apart to give yourself more space for the shoulders to move. Or if you have a little bit too much space, you can't keep that strap tight, then you can bring your hands closer together. Nice and slow here. Let's take about one more full round. So bringing the strap back and then forward again. Notice how that feels. Beautiful. Bringing your arms down in front of you now. Let's walk the hands just a little bit closer together, so a little bit closer to shoulders width distance now. As you inhale, reach your arms to the sky. As you exhale, reach your arms to the right and let your body dip here so you can find a side stretch. Keeping your legs heavy, reaching through your arms and continuing to pull on the strap with your hands, pulling out. Let's take another breath in here. Slow breath out. As you inhale, come right back up through center. And exhale the other way, reaching to the left, letting the upper body stretch here. So really getting heavy through that right hip especially, reaching through that right arm and feeling all that space in the side of your waist. Let's stay for another breath in here. And breath out. Your inhale brings you back through center, reaching up once again. This time as you exhale, turn your chest towards your right knee and float your arms down towards the mat. So relaxing your arms, but keeping a gentle hold of that strap, finding just a little twist here through the spine. Breathing into the entire length of your spine here, from the crown of your head down to your tailbone. Let's take another inhale here. As you exhale, slowly unwind your twist, coming back through center. With your inhale, arms reach for the sky. And as you exhale, turn to the left knee, arms float down, taking that gentle twist to the other side. Gently drawing that left shoulder back behind you. So you feel this lifting of the chest, that expansion that we had when we were on our backs. And breathing into all that space. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, slowly unwind your twist, come back through center. Strap can be set off to the side now. We'll come back to that later. If it feels good, you can take a moment to kind of shake out your arms, maybe roll your shoulders a couple more times. Beautiful. When you're ready, let's bring the soles of the feet together. Let the knees open wide. Setting up for our butterfly pose here. Now before we fold forward, let's check in with the knees and the hips. If your knees are lifted high off of the mat and you're feeling any kind of pulling sensation around the hips, then you can grab that sushi roll that we've been using and bring it underneath the knees a little bit here. So my blanket's kind of short. I'm just going to wrap it around the feet and underneath my ankles, giving me a little extra support. If your blanket's a little longer or you can make a longer roll, you can bring that all the way under your knees. So when you're ready here, let's take an inhale to sit up a little bit taller. As you exhale, draw your heart forward as you melt over the legs, allowing your arms just to relax wherever they naturally fall. Feeling your hips moving back and down, anchoring you to the mat. As you allow your chest to come down, upper body can relax. Let's stay for about 10 rounds of breath here. Perhaps closing your eyes if that feels comfortable for you. Or finding a soft gaze somewhere on the floor. And as we pause here for a few more breaths, check in with your body and notice where you might be gripping or holding on. So perhaps you're squeezing your fingers or your toes, maybe clenching your jaw or feeling your shoulders squeezing up towards your ears. And if you find anywhere that you're holding like that, take a few breaths to see if you can soften a little bit in that area. Meeting yourself wherever you're at today, relaxing as much as you're able, with no judgment or expectation for how much you're able to relax. And we have about 3 more rounds of breath here. With your next natural inhale, slowly begin to rise up out of this fold, coming back to a nice tall spine. If you are using your blanket, please set it off to the side. And then your hands can help you here as you gently bring your knees together. Plant the soles of your feet on the floor. And let's step the feet out nice and wide, wider than your hips. Hands come behind you for support as you begin to windshield wiper your knees side to side. Taking your time here, no rush through this movement. Just taking one more moment here to really feel into the hips and get out any crunchiness or tightness there. As you're ready, gradually slow down this movement, making it smaller and smaller until eventually you settle back into stillness, feet planted on the floor. Awesome. Find your comfortable seat again for a moment. And please grab your blanket as well as your pillow or bolster, whichever one you're using today. So we're going to be setting up our little creation on the top half of our yoga mat here. So wherever your head goes on your yoga mat. And let's start with our blanket. We're going to unroll that sushi roll that we had so that our blanket comes back to this nice wide fold. And then from there, again, long edge to long edge, we're going to fold the blanket at least one more time. If you have a thinner blanket, you're going to want to fold it up a couple times so that it's nice and thick for you. I have a nice thick blanket, so I'm going to keep it as it is and lay that blanket out so that it's vertical on your yoga mat. From there, your pillow or bolster is going to go right on top of your blanket. So you're creating a nice thick space here for your body to rest on. Once you have your creation, uncross your legs and we'll bring the legs into this kind of Z formation. One leg in front, one leg to the side. That leg that is bent will be right next to your creation here. So scooting that hip right up next to your blanket and your pillow or bolster. Sitting up nice and tall, take an inhale here. As you exhale, turn your chest towards your pillow or bolster. And then slowly start to lower yourself down. Resting your entire abdomen here, turning your cheek so that you're looking in the same direction as your knee is pointing. If you need to lift this a little bit higher, you can always add another blanket, another pillow. If you need to take it lower, you can take your blanket out of the equation. So resting down as you're ready, arms just framing that pillow or bolster here, relaxed by your sides. And then closing your eyes again if that feels okay for you. Letting the weight of your body drop down into the supports of your props and your mat. And feeling this really gentle twist for the spine here. We'll stay for about a minute in this pose. And while you're here, you might take a moment to tune in to your breath without the need to change anything, just noticing this natural flow of your inhales and exhales. And as you pause in this shape with this attention on your breath, you might notice that naturally things begin to shift. Perhaps the pace of your breathing slows down. Maybe your muscles soften and relax a little bit more. Allowing yourself to surrender to whatever the experience is on your mat today. Let's take one more inhale here. Exhale completely. Moving nice and slowly. Use your hands to press yourself up away from your props. Nice and slow, coming back up to a seated position. And from here, all we're going to do is switch sides. So you can take your knees up and over to the other side. Again, one leg in front of you, one leg to the side. That leg in front of you will be right up against your props, hip touching that pillow or bolster. Taking an inhale to sit up nice and tall. As you exhale, turn your chest towards your props and lower your chest down. Turning onto that cheek, looking out to the side of your mat. And again, taking a moment to readjust the height of your props as needed so that you can get nice and cozy. And again, we'll stay for about a minute here on this side of your twist. Stay in silence for this minute here. Let's take one more inhale here. Nice, slow, smooth exhale. As you're ready, using your hands to press back up to your seated position, taking your time as you transition here. And then bringing your legs out in front of you. Take a moment to stretch your legs out long. Give them a little shake, a little wiggle. Awesome. Let's move our props off to the side here. So moving that bolster, moving that blanket, making sure that they're nearby, within reach. We will be using them again soon. And then we're going to grab our strap and lie all the way down onto our backs. Take a moment just to feel your body supported by the earth here. Bending your knees, planting the soles of your feet onto the floor. Let's take a breath in and breath out. As you're ready, gently hugging your right knee in towards your chest. And taking our strap, let's open the strap nice and wide here. And bring your strap underneath your right foot. Just under the ball of your foot here, so we're not too low into the heel or the arch. We're not up into the toes, but we're right there under the ball of the foot. One hand to either side of your strap as you begin to straighten your leg to the sky, kicking your heel up as you draw your hands down towards the ends of your strap. Arms will rest down onto the mat, so let your hands come as low as they need to for your arms to rest down. And then gently pull with your hands as you lift with the sole of your foot, so that you can feel this length through the entire back of your right leg. Now, of course, your right knee can be bent a little or a lot, whatever feels best for your body here today. And making sure not to lock out that knee. So not kicking the heel up so much that we get kind of frozen there in the knee joint. If you would like, that left leg can begin to stretch long down your mat as well, creating this kind of L shape with the legs. But if you notice that starts to feel crunchy for your low back, you can rebend your knee, plant the sole of your foot. Let's stay for a minute or two here. Relaxing your grip on the strap, just gently pulling down, feeling that length of the leg. I like to imagine that my right hip is anchoring down into the mat, almost like roots of a tree. And then my foot is lifting up towards the sky, finding that length that lies in between. Now, of course, you can always adjust the sensation here. If at any point this feels like too much sensation, you can send your leg away from your chest. If you'd like more sensation, then you can let the leg come a little bit closer to the nose. Remember, there's no need to strain or force your body in any way here. Just looking for that place where you feel the stretch and letting yourself settle in. Let's take one more inhale here. Please stay for your exhale. Now bringing both sides of your strap into your right hand. Let your left hand drop down to your left hip, just giving you a little bit more anchoring towards the floor. And then keeping that gentle pull on the strap, begin to open your right leg out to the right side of your mat any amount, finding this kind of half straddle shape here. So stretching now into the inner edge of the thigh, that inner line of the leg. Continuing to lengthen out through the heel as you pull with your hand. And keeping that left hip grounded this entire time. And we'll stay for just a few breaths here. That knee can bend a little or a lot if that feels better for the right leg. Let's take one more inhale here. Please stay for your exhale. With your inhale, slowly bring your leg back up through center. And now the strap is going to come into your left hand. Right arm can rest by your side. Think about this same length of the leg as you begin to draw your right leg across your body, just until your right toes line up with your left shoulder. So we're not going all the way over into a twist, but we're just slightly crossing the body. Looking for some sensation in the outer line of the leg now, into your outer hip, maybe even a little bit into that right glute. And again, we'll stay for just a few rounds of breath here. Let's take one more full breath in. Complete breath out. With your inhale, slowly bringing your right leg back through center. As you exhale, bend your right knee. Take that strap off of your foot. And take a moment just to give that right leg a hug. Maybe roll out your ankle. Might feel nice to move your leg side to side, feeling into your hip. And then when you feel ready, we'll switch sides. So let's start with that right foot planted. Left knee hugs in towards your chest. And then strap will come once again to the ball of the left foot here. One hand on either side of the strap as you lengthen your leg to the sky, kicking your foot up, drawing your hands down, letting your arms rest all the way onto the floor. Finding that place where this left leg wants to settle here. So again, adjusting the sensation by taking your leg farther away from the chest or closer to the chest, deciding whether or not you'd like to bend that left knee, and then choosing to either keep that right foot planted or lengthen that right leg long down your mat. And once you're there, letting your body settle into stillness, taking a few breaths to feel the stretch through the back of the left leg. Perhaps closing your eyes if you haven't already done so, or finding a soft gaze up towards your toes. And as we stay for about 10 more rounds of breath here, checking in with the sensations on this left side of your body, and noticing if anything feels different than when we did this on the right side. Staying curious about whatever you find, no judgments or expectations for your body here. And let's take one more inhale here. Nice, slow, smooth exhale. Bringing both sides of your strap now into your left hand. Right hand will find your right hip, helping you to ground through that right side body. Then when you're ready, begin to open your left leg out towards the left side of your mat, creating that half straddle shape, stretching to the inside edge of the leg here. And finding that place that feels best for you, where you can keep that right hip grounded and get a nice stretch through that left hip. Maybe that means you bend your knee a little. Maybe you pull a little bit more onto the strap. Play around here and see what feels best for your body as we take a few more breaths here. And we've got one more inhale here. Exhale completely. As you inhale, bring your leg back up through center, switching your strap over into your right hand, letting your left arm rest down by your side. This time, let's move the left leg across your body, just so that your left toes are about in line with your right shoulder. Keeping your left hip heavy, feeling this length through the outer edge of your left leg. Let's stay for a few rounds of breath with this sensation. Keeping your breath slow and steady to help you really feel into this stretch. And we have one more inhale here. Nice slow exhale. With your next inhale, drawing your leg back up through center. As you exhale, bend your knee towards your chest. And let's take the strap away from the foot. Set your strap off to one side and take a moment to hug that left knee. Maybe roll your ankle or move through the leg a little bit. And then as you're ready, we'll meet with both feet planted flat onto the floor here. Grabbing your bolster or your pillow, we'll set up for a supported bridge pose here. So feet planted flat, shoulder blades drilling down into the mat. We'll inhale to lift our hips, coming towards bridge pose. And then take that bolster and slide it right underneath your hips here. So letting yourself rest down, feeling your hips, your glutes supported by that prop. Arms can rest naturally wherever they fall. And allowing yourself to settle into this really gentle back bend here. Now, if resting on your bolster just is not giving you quite enough height here, you can always take your blanket and fold it up a couple of times, just like we did earlier, to give yourself a little bit more lift of the hips. We'll stay in this shape for about 2 minutes. And during those 2 minutes, you have some freedom to explore. So your first option is to keep your knees bent and feet planted just as they are. Your second option is to stretch one or both legs long on your mat, getting a little extra stretch for the hip flexors here, right there at the top of the thigh. And your third option is to hug your knees in towards your chest. And then lengthen your legs all the way up towards the sky, finding this nice restorative inversion. So choose whatever variation you like best today. Maybe you do a couple of them within these couple of minutes that we're here. And wherever you choose to be, let yourself settle into a few moments of stillness. Allowing your eyes to close or your gaze to soften. And allowing your body to be completely supported by your props, your yoga mat, the earth underneath you. There is nothing you have to do, nowhere you have to be. This is your time just for you. We have about another 5 rounds of breath here. Let's take one more inhale here and exhale completely. Begin to bring the soles of your feet back onto the floor if you're not already there. And we'll come out of this shape the same way we came in. So pushing through your feet, begin to lift your hips just enough that you can slide your prop out from underneath you. Setting that bolster off to the side, giving yourself a moment to rest on your mat here. And when you feel ready, begin to make your way to your final resting pose, your Shavasana for today. So if you know where you want to go in your Shavasana, please feel free to go there now. Maybe stretching out the legs, letting your arms rest by your sides. But of course today we have these props with us, so why not use them to make our Shavasana just a little bit sweeter? So if you'd like to use your props today, take a moment just to slowly sit up. And we're going to grab that bolster and our blanket. So there are a ton of different variations you can take for your Shavasana, but I'll show you one of my favorites today. So that bolster or pillow is going to be at the bottom of your mat. And your legs will stretch out over your bolster so that your knees are just over top of it. So knees will be bent a little or quite a lot here depending on the height of that bolster. And then your blanket is going to come either over your body just like you would use a blanket going to sleep at night, or you can use it as a pillow underneath your head. So setting up that blanket however you want to use it today. Again, knees resting over top of that bolster. And then laying yourself back down onto your back, settling in for a few minutes of stillness and silence here. Once again, allowing your body to become heavy, surrendering into the support of your props. Allowing your eyes to close or your gaze to soften. And bringing your awareness to the rhythm of your breath. Letting each round of breath bring you deeper and deeper into this place of rest. And this is where I'll leave you for today, to relax into your Shavasana for as long as you'd like. I thank you so much for meeting me on the mat today. Namaste. Be well.